Hello and welcome to Iron Port, and welcome back from the Easter holidays, viewers. This is Iron Port, your number one current affairs platform for maritime activities in Ghana. It is made possible by Ghana Revenue Authority, GOIL, PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. Iron Port is powered by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Viewers, during the Easter, we had a discussion about stress awareness, and professionals we spoke to gave some recommendations on how we can manage stress as workers within the maritime industry. This is an excerpt of that discussion. Take a listen.
What symptoms or complaints commonly do people present to you? People who work in our environment when they come to.
Thank you.
And at what point do you conclude that this is stress?
People present, usually we get the physical symptoms of stress on the body. And some of the physical symptoms of stress on the body include muscle tension.
Yes.
So after prolonged working, and if the working conditions are not good, there is work overload. These people will come with backache, shoulder ache, and you have to delve into it, and you realize that they have stress.
Yes.
Some also present with tensional headaches, so they have constant headache.
Yes.
They come, and this headache is unrelenting. They take all sort of pain medication. It doesn't go. Then you should be looking at considering stress as a trigger.
Right.
And some of them also present with sleep disturbances, where their quality of sleep is poor, and also they have difficulty even falling asleep and achieving good sleep. There are also gastrointestinal symptoms where they crave for food mostly at odd hours at night, and some have diarrhea, constipation, and all that. There are also cardiovascular symptoms whereby their BP goes up, and when it goes up and it's uncontrolled, we end up with these people getting stroke, myocardial infarction, which is heart attack,
Yes.
and other symptoms. And when we come to the emotional symptoms, emotional and behavioral symptoms, they have interpersonal relationship problems. So I had a clinical scenario where a gentleman came, and it was a welfare team that picked him up. And this person was fighting with almost everybody on his team. And what is the problem? This person was recently diagnosed with retroviral infection. So he mentioned diseases. So he had the infection, he had the retrovirus, and he couldn't deal with it. So he was suffering within. And at the end of the day, he was reported to the welfare team. But when this person came to my consulting room and we started discussing, he opened up. And it was because of this. So I had to link him to care. And this person is currently doing well, working, having wonderful relationship with his colleagues at work. And at the extreme side, people can experience post-traumatic stress disorder when they encounter traumatic event in their life. He mentioned the 4 Ds, divorce, death. So anytime they think about this, it's put them under intense stress. And also, some present with substance abuse. So we sometimes pick up people with abusing cannabis or alcohol. When you delve into it, you realize that they are stressed, and this is due to probably occupational stress. And when this happens, somebody will come to you with reduced motivation, lack of initiative, taking initiative even at work. You take history, you examine this person, and you realize that it is stress. So these are some of the symptoms they present with when they are stressed.
So let me come to Dr. Amfojo and find out from you. To industry players, practitioners who in one way or other may be suffering from stress and, related, issues, but hesitant to speak out, what would you tell them?
Again, I think this is part of the challenge generally with respect to mental health issues. I mean, when somebody has a car accident and the leg is broken, you can see the leg is broken,
Yes.
whatever, and POP. But when somebody is broken inside, it doesn't show like as a fracture or as a high blood pressure. So a lot of the times it's the behavior changes that should alert you. And in that respect, when you say speak out, it's more about speaking about the issue so that we all realize that this is something that a lot of people struggle with, and sometimes they're not able. Part of the illness is that they're actually not able to speak out, like for example, depression. So it's more creating the awareness such that, again, whether it's line managers, whether it's supervisors, whether it's close family, can actually identify that there's some behavior change, or there's this person is not really, the output at work is not like how it used to be. There are just a few. I mean, some people get very short-tempered, irritable at work. So then, these are the kind of things that, for those who, a lot of people, we spend a lot more time at work than necessarily at home. And in this instance, with respect to the seafarers, for instance, they actually says that it's a situation where the work becomes the home environment as well. So you can pick up some of these behavior changes, etc. Fortunately, there's now support helplines, etc. This creation, like for example, this program is actually very important. In terms of, again, opening up to discuss. But the key thing here is for employers and employees and in Ghana to accept that, it's not everybody who, it's not a situation where you have to man up or you have to be like pretend to be strong. No. These are they are real challenges.
Even the strongest of a man can be affected.
Yes. I mean, it has nothing to do with physical strength. I mean, that inner emotional strength is very different. And in that respect, lots of people are affected. Again, simple manifestations, your sleep, your appetite, your sexual desire, your concentration at work. These are things that, and again, we must emphasize for the work environment, it's the supervisor, the line manager who knows you or knows or should know your output extra. If that's coming down, whatever. It's important that discussion is had, and if it's really beyond just supporting the person, that the person is then referred for appropriate services. But again, I must emphasize the training and the creation of awareness for these line managers themselves, who, as Captain was saying, themselves sometimes under so much pressure. It's important.
Let me come to Captain Adu, your last words, and whether the issue of discussing mental health is still a taboo, so to speak, in your side.
In the maritime industry, it's not a taboo. And as he rightly said, I'm quite surprised because GMA, who is part of the IMO, understands where we are in these mental health issues. And it's clearly that they have rectified most of the conventions by IMO, and they should now probably create awareness. I must say that you keep hammering on training, and this is what is a no-go in the industry, that people are not trained when such risk or any risk are identified. I can say that any person that joins a vessel in a reputable company like BSM, you need to undergo mental health training.
Right.
It's a must.
Right.
And this is as a wake of the COVID issue. Everybody need to go through mental health training. Yeah. In addition to that, they have put in extra measure where you have a hotline whilst in transit from your home to the vessel, and whilst on the vessel and after the vessel, there are hotlines that are 24 hours to give you whatever mental situation that you. If this is my last, I just wanted to put a comment on the seafarer frontiers. You know, is understanding the industry is one thing. In recent times, we are having a lot of stress and mental cases coming up every day in our line of work from the office. And if you go into this situation, realize that these are self-inflicted stresses by the seafarer because they are not really understanding the industry they are. Why am I saying so? Let me explain. You know, when you are called a seafarer, you don't know the ship you are joining. You don't know the route of the vessel. You don't know whom you are going to work with. You don't know the food you are going to eat. So you have no control when you are signing on a vessel. Here are seafarers, proud to joining this vessel. He has arranged his marriage. He has made concrete plans to come back. I'm going for 6 months contract. And by 6 months, I'm coming to marry. I'm going to do my child education. I'm going to attend to this occasion. He has planned and committed people to this plan. Then you go back on board the ship. The route of the vessel is not allowing you to sign off. Port restrictions are not allowing you to. Visa restrictions are not allowing you to sign off.
And then stress.
Then you create stress.
So Dr. Minta Benyin is a medical officer at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Dr. Yao Mfojo is a consultant psychiatrist and sleep specialist at the International Maritime Hospital. And Captain Joshua Addo is the country representative for Bernard Schulte Ship Management Ghana. You just heard their thoughts on how we can manage occupational stress at the workplace. And you may want to pick one thing or two from their recommendations. Remember, this is the abridged version. For the full conversation, check with our YouTube at iImport. Now let us hear a few comments that were shared on the subject after we will go on break and then follow with some more news.
Bridgewell Nokpori says, we heard that during the COVID-19 pandemic, many seafarers were unable to disembark due to lockdowns. That must have been extreme. Can Captain Addo describe just how severe this situation was from a mental health perspective?
I recall a situation where we have about 10 nationalities on board a vessel that called Tema, and the whole crew could not operate the ship because they are overdue. Then we have to seek clearance from the president to allow a chartered flight to come to Ghana to evacuate these seafarers. To tell you the level of mental health that they were. There were times we do not want to remember because people really lost so much than what money can give them.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefi. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Thanks for staying, viewers. Now it's time for our local news segment.
The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA, Brigadier General Paul Seidu Tanye-Kulonu, has paid a courtesy call on the Commissioner of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Brigadier General Ashong Anan. Their discussions focused on enhancing efficiency at Ghana's ports, specifically reducing clearance times and lowering the cost of doing business. They also explored strategies to make Ghana's ports more attractive to Sahelian countries, including the possible removal of certain transit-related taxes. Having worked closely together in the past, the two leaders expressed strong commitment to deepening collaboration between their institutions. They aim to leverage their long-standing relationship to drive improvements in port operations and the overall business environment. Both Brigadier General Tanye-Kulonu and Brigadier General Ashong Anan reaffirmed their support for the operationalization of the government's 24-hour economic policy geared at job creation and boosting national revenue through efficient service delivery.
So your visit today is not just a mark of institutional courtesy, but a clear signal of our shared commitment to deepening collaboration between our two institutions. The Customs Division and Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority are at the heart of Ghana's trade and revenue architecture. This year, more than ever, government has placed a renewed focus on domestic revenue mobilization as a foundation for national development. In line with the government's 24-hour economy, it is incumbent on us to rethink and retool our operational models to make port clearance more efficient, seamless, and then also technology-driven.
I'm here to pay a formal courtesy call to you for us to see and discuss how best we can work together in order to achieve the government's 24-hour economic policy, and also how to ensure that the two institutions collaborate and work well.
In a related development, the Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Brigadier General Paul Seidu Tanyekulonu, paid a courtesy call on the Managing Director of the State Insurance Company, SIC, Dr. James Ejenim Boateng. The meeting focused on strengthening the existing relationship between GPHA and SIC, with discussions centered on deepening collaboration and exploring new avenues to improve and expand their current business engagements. Both leaders expressed a shared commitment to fostering strategic partnerships that align with their institutions' mandates, enhance operationalization efficiency, and contribute to national development. The Director General was accompanied by the General Manager for Finance, Thebon Zuma, General Manager for Marketing and Corporate Affairs, Dr. Kinsley Entriboisiakun, General Manager Corporate Planning, Khalid Nuhu, General Manager Legal, Joshua Nemakun, and PSO Kenel Benlaye Oduma.
Let us now move on to the international stage and hear what is happening there too. After a strong start to the year which built upon a recovery that began in 2023, booking volumes for US containerized imports dropped 20% from their January peaks, despite still being 30% higher year over year compared to 2024. From March 24 to April 8, 2025, the logistics industry witnessed precipitous declines across multiple sectors, what container data analyst Vision termed a tariff shockwave. They include 1. Global 20-foot equivalent units booked plummeted by 49%. 2. Overall US imports fell by 64%. 3. US exports declined by 30%. 4. US imports from China dropped 64%. 5. US exports to China decreased by 36%. These dramatic reductions coincided with the April 4 announcement by the Trump administration of new tariff measures, which were swiftly followed by retaliatory actions from China on April 5. The result was a widespread booking freeze as shippers paused to reassess their strategies. The Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore has received 14 proposals under its expression of interest for the scale-up of the supply of liquefied natural gas as a marine fuel. Just 4 months following the call, a total of 18 companies, including energy sector players, fuel suppliers, traders, bunker operators, and storage providers, showed interest in supporting sea-based LNG reloading to complement the existing onshore infrastructure and pave the way for more solutions. According to MPA Singapore, 8 of the submissions offer options related to biomethane, which is produced from organic waste, and e-methane, which is made using renewable electricity. Our phrase of the day is bulk freight container.
Bulk freight container. Bulk freight container refers to a container with 2 or 3 portholes on the top and discharge hatches in the doors. Allows the container transport of free-flowing bulk commodities such as grain, iron ore, and coal.
This week's health and safety tip tells us about traffic cones.
Traffic cones. Traffic cones are a universal symbol of safety and order. They direct traffic, protect workers, and prevent accidents in some of the busiest and most dangerous areas. Similar to safety signs, traffic cones provide clear visual cues to guide people and vehicles effectively. Always ensure to look out for traffic cones and adhere to them.
Let us now take a look at the schedule of vessels in the port of Tema, like the ones lined up behind me, those in Takoradi, those at the anchorages of both ports, as well as those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates, which you may need to know to clear your cargo with. All right, this is where we end today's edition of Iron Port. We hope, as usual, you've been informed and educated. Remember, all Iron Port content can be found on our YouTube channel, Iron Port. Subscribe, like, share our videos. Thank you for watching.